right, we are back with another episode of the Menace Podcast. And yes, she's finally here. New Miss Bikini Champ out of Florida, Jeanette Layug. What's up, champ?
How's it going?
It's going great.
I'm good here.
Awesome. To get back to your name, yes, I believe one N, you stretch the word as Jeanette. And with double N, you say Janet.
My dad says it, he has an accent, that Filipino accent, so he says Jeanette, obviously like that.
That's another thing I didn't know. You mixed Filipino and Polish. I had no idea.
It's a crazy mix, right? Like two different worlds. That's what the military gets you. My father retired from the Navy. My mother was in the Navy, and I am not a Navy brat.
See, I'm an Army brat. I have to say, I'm a military brat. So, but I had no idea, because, everybody says, whatever's mixed with Asian, it's good looking, The producer's just looking at me because he's Asian too. So yeah, I didn't know you did you ever go to the Philippines or Poland? Yes, you did. You won your Olympia qualification in the Philippines.
I won the Sean Roden Classic show in the Philippines, and also many of you guys know one of our famous shoots that I did with J.M. Mannion for NBC News Online was in Boracay, in the most beautiful tropical destination. All the pics are on NBC News Online, and it was like the best ever. I've been going to the Philippines for several years now, supporting the show, supporting, bodybuilding and fitness there. It's growing in the Asia countries. So obviously that's my roots. And I love to go back to my homeland and support everyone there as well.
That's awesome. So have you been to the Philippines before the show, or was that the first time?
I've been there to attend a show and to do seminars. And then with the show being there, I said, you know what? If there's a pro bikini, I want to be a part of it. Why not? Right. It would only make sense,
Right.
Being half Filipino. And God, I can't tell you how cool it was and just so memorable for me to connect with my roots in my homeland and compete there. And then, of course, I get the Olympia qualification there from that show. So it was very meaningful to me.
Yeah. So what is it like though, being a mix of now Philippines on one side and then you Polish on the other side? Do you have any connection to Poland?
I cook really good pierogies. But they always I joke because some people say that like Polish people are big bone, the European side, big bone. But I can't really tell if I get it from my Polish side or my Filipino side, because on my dad's side, the Philippines, my cousins are like my brothers. They're like very tall, like 6'1", 6 foot. My sister's 5'11". Like I have really tall uncles, like 6 foot. So ironically, they say Asians are short, but like on my side, they're actually really tall.
Right. Yeah, well, there's some tall ones. I mean, and I know what it's like having siblings taller than you, because my sister's 5'11" too. I don't know what happened to me. I have no idea. My brother's my brother's 6'2", and I'm 5'8".
Were you the mailman's?
I probably pulled the ass card. I don't know something happened. Something went wrong because my sister nice and tall, my brother tall. I'm the only shorty in the family. Now you were born and raised in Florida, Lakeland, Florida, correct?
I was born in Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia, because the naval base is over there. Then my parents, we moved to Florida when I was like baby and grew up in Central Florida, Polk County, and grew up in a very like on a farm. My dad has a lot of land. He's we had a garden, we like grow vegetables and things like that, and actually did a lot of like hard labor that you wouldn't think young girls would do. But I think growing up in that manner, it builds character in you at a young age. You learn a lot. But Florida's been my hometown since the beginning.
Yeah, but you know what? I realized, because you said you work hard as a young kid, and that's a Polish thing. Polish people are known for being hard workers, not afraid to work, whatever it takes. Because I see that in Germany. I grew up in Germany, and there's every year when they start, when the potatoes are ready or in the fields, they bring or asparagus, they bring the Polish workers in from Poland and give them the opportunity for a couple of weeks to work in Germany and make money.
That's so interesting.
Because you could literally watch them all day, bend over, stabbing asparagus in the heat. They don't care. See, the Germans, they don't do it, so they get the Polish people, and those are the hard workers. That's probably where you have your drive and your dedication from.
Yeah, one place I definitely would love to go is visit Poland. I have not been, but I would love to go. Just another place. Maybe there's a show there. We'll see.
You know what? There is a show, and there's a Polish pro. What's his name? I hope I'm not butchering his name. Robert Petrekovich or something like that. He has his own show. He does pro events and amateur event in Poland. Yes, Poland. I'm 100% sure.
That's interesting. Definitely. Wow.
So what was it like growing up in Florida before fitness? What did you do before fitness?
Well, Florida's like obviously sunshine state, lots of sun. It's hot here. It's like melting right now. Probably not as melting as where you're at right now, though. Yeah. I think it's a little bit hotter there. But, I'm still to this day, I live in Florida. I love, I fly all over the world, but I love coming back to Florida. There's, the incentives of being outside. There's so many things going on, whether it's the beach or just whatever Florida has to offer. But grew up here, went to school here. I did sports in high school. I did soccer. I did cheerleading. I eventually went on to do, went to school here. I went to a community college. I got my nursing degree. Okay. And I also went to USF, University of South Florida, got my registered nurse degree here. And I was working in the medical field for a while. But at the same time, going through school, I had a daughter, raising her. And
I almost asked you, how did that happen? Okay. Okay, just keep going. I won't stop you.
Easy answer, right? I had a daughter, but I was also in school and putting myself through school, working as a waitress. I worked at Hooters and I did a lot of promotional work with Hooters and I participated in their pageants. They had swimsuit pageants. So I get a lot of my experience on stage from doing those pageants and promotional work, like
and photo shoots and all that stuff.
Photo shoots and calendar signings and all that stuff. So I'm honestly so grateful for my time there. I learned so much and did everything. Took advantage of those opportunities that most girls don't realize that is there, as far as building yourself a foundation for yourself, networking, and
it helps looking the way you do, and you are pretty tall for female. I think you're 5'6", 5'7".
Like I'm almost 5'8". Almost
5'8". So you tall. So that's model height right there. So of course you had a lot of opportunities because, like I said, looking the way you do helps a lot.
So when I was younger, I used to really want to aspire to be a runway model, but I realized that I'm actually too short for that. You have to be like 5'10", 5'11", and my sisters were fortunate to get that height that I wasn't. I'm the shortest in my family, and I used to want to be that runway model, but I realized that I don't know, the image, it didn't fit my body type. My body type was more athletic and I was naturally had a little bit of tone to me. So I was more of the muscular type.
Got you.
And I got made fun of as a kid for being like muscular back then, back when it was like not, cool to be, that shape for women.
Okay, so was that the reason for you, because you realized that you're not tall enough to be a runway model? Was that the reason for you to switch over into the fitness industry?
Oh, no, I love, the reason why I got into fitness was because, one, being a nurse, I was into nutrition and the physiology of, the body, anatomy and physiology, all that. But I also just I was naturally competitive, playing sports in high school, but I loved working out for fun. And I didn't know how to train back then. I used to think that doing cardio and running was, that's how you lose weight. But we all know that's far from the truth. And I I started learning about training and how to lift weights, and I gained an appreciation for muscle and to put it on, and that it looks sexy on women, and that, strong is the new sexy, and that, nice shaped shoulders look good. So it changed my mindset on that. And that's what I started seeing the bikini division when it first came out. And I'm like, wow, I want to look like that. I want to challenge myself to become that, because I feel that inside that I can do that. So then I made the commitment, and that's when I committed to the Flex Bikini model search.
What year was that? Was that the first one?
That was back in 2013.
That was
way back then.
Yeah, because I think that had to be the first one or the second one. So you did that.
I don't know what number it was. Yeah. And I knew nothing about fitness. I knew no one in the industry. And I saw they were having the Flex Bikini model search. And actually, it was two guys in the industry that I knew, and they're like, hey, you should do this. You'd probably do really well. And I was like, I don't know. I know nothing about the audience of, what the judges are.
So did you win the online thing and went straight to the show?
No, there was no online anything. It was you go up to the show. I showed up to compete against 70 girls from all around. They, clearly were, competed many of times before. Right. I knew nothing. I showed up. And obviously I had a coach though to prep me for the show. So I hooked up with the coach, and we hit it. We committed to a month of training, because I was already kind of fit back then to begin with. So a month of training, went to the show, and ended up winning out of 70 girls out of, that have been doing it for a long time. So to me, after that, being on that stage, and I was like, I don't know what the judges are looking for.
Joe Weider's Olympia here in Orlando, Florida. A little bit strange coming out of Las Vegas for all of those years.
Good evening, and welcome to the event that nearly never happened.
There's been an absence of a particular group of people on this stage that are back tonight. Tonight I'm here to say, welcome back to Miss Olympia.
I got on the stage and I was like, wow, this is like any other stage to me. So I went out and just did my thing, owned it, and was like, fell in love with the sport, fell in love with the process. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm getting my NPC card, and competed the very next weekend.
And the exact same story I was hoping for my daughter, because she did the same thing. She'd never been on no stage. She never trained for any shows. And a year later, 2014, 6 weeks before, 6 weeks, there was this online, Flex Magazine had the online, where you sent your pictures in, and they choose the 5 highest votes. Those girls are qualified for the finals, straight through the finals. Everybody else has to just show up on Friday or Friday morning, and then there was also 68 girls. First time she's been on stage. She won, I think she won the online contest, so she was a finalist. They did a photo shoot in Vegas before the Saturday, only the 5 girls. And she went through the same way. And I was hoping, because she placed second out of 68. So I was hoping that's motivation to kick for her too, but she went just the opposite.
Oh no, I mean, God, it's crazy, because when you know nothing, you're an outsider of like the industry, of competing. You learn so much through the process, and I loved it. It was just right up my alley, combining like bikini and fitness and health and just all of it. So it was just meant for me. Bikini was meant for me all day.
So you went straight from the Olympia. Then was that the same year that you won the nationals?
It was the same year I won nationals. I went to get on. I competed in Hurricane Bay.
So that was all after the Olympia then?
right after the Olympia.
So you had like 2-3 months left before the nationals. So you competed a couple of times, went to the nationals, got your pro card.
Yep, competed in a couple of shows before nationals, and ended up earning my pro card unanimously overall at the NPC Nationals.
Okay, so now you coming from being a catalog model, going into fitness, cleaning up, winning basically everything you're doing until you get your pro card. What did that do to you? Now you're at the nationals. You got your pro card. You just won unanimously. What's in your head at this moment? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I didn't realize that the stakes, they really change. They really, once you become an IFBB pro, the stakes change. And I can't tell you, I've had the most fun in my NPC days, the best memories. But, when you want to take it on and make a career out of this, things get serious and, there's more at stake. I had to figure out what I wanted to do for my pro debut. And I was fortunate enough that the Arnold's, such a prestigious show, that was my pro debut in 2014.
So
and I'm like,
literally a couple of months later.
Yeah, literally a couple of months later, I was like, holy crap, it's such a prestigious show that for me to be able to, showcase my first, my pro debut. I was very grateful for that. And I placed like 8th out of, all the girls, but, right in the middle. But I was still happy. Obviously, I'm, grateful to be there, but 8th place, going from like winning all these shows and earning your pro card, and then you get placed 8th, you're like, holy crap, what did I do wrong? Did I look that bad? And, you start thinking, and it's not that you start somewhere, you have to go back to the drawing board, you have to put in the work, you think you look good. No, you got to go back and improve, and competing with the best in the world, you got to show up the best. So that told me, okay, place 8th, I got to come back and improve and become better. So eventually I went on and competed in one of Shane and Day's show, and I won my first pro show, Battle on the Beach.
That was also in 2014. So you won the battle, if my information is correct, which I don't know for sure. I got you within the Battle at the Beach, and then you got 4th at the Pittsburgh Pro.
I did. I was like so excited to compete in Pittsburgh Pro. That's like the Mecca there, and such a famous show that the experience to compete there was so awesome. And I still didn't place where I wanted to.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, 8th place, 4th place. Like, this is not me. I feel in here that that I'm better than that. I can come back better, and I need to earn, that first place. So those shows were teaching me, all right, let's do something here. Let's change it up. Let's improve.
But going through the amateur ranks so fast, and everything happened for you within like 6 months. You went from competing the first time to being a pro. Were you aware of, once you turned pro, were you aware of the girls that are on top in the bikini class, or did you just go in there not knowing who is who?
I had a few that I really, really admired. I thought they were beautiful and that they represented themselves well. I knew I had envisioned them as like inspiration, right? But at the same time, when I started, I kind of like, this is my thing that I'm doing this for myself. This is my brand. I started like not focusing on like other people, and I was like, what can I do? Like, I really put all like the effort and everything I could into like get my training going. Like, this is for me. And because I didn't want to get caught up in like comparing myself to the other girls and who's going to show up and who is the limelight, during this time. If you want to be, represented in that way, you have to like put it out there. You have to bring that energy. And that's what I was trying to create for myself.
So you took 14 and said, okay, now let's go ahead and let's make the improvements from come back in 2015 and kill it. That was the
Absolutely.
mindset.
So, after playing eighth and the Arnolds later that year and coming into the Olympia. That's what pushed me to get second place. I got second place to Ashley Caldwell in 2014 at the Mr. Olympia.
So that was your first Olympia?
My first Olympia.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So, those, it's like those things, they push you to become even better and harder and hungrier for that top spot. And, I competed in those great shows, but the Olympia is like the best in the world. That's what I came here to do. That's what I've been working so hard for. So, when it came, I was grateful to get second place. I was grateful to be there, as my first Olympia. But still, I know being the rookie, you have to be like grateful that you're there. But in my heart, I felt like, no, I want to win this.
That's your Polish side right there.
So in everything I do, I don't just do it to be grateful that I'm doing it. I want to do it because I want to conquer. When I set my mind to something, I take it all the way. And that's always the same mindset that I carry ever since getting through college and earning my degree, all while having a child. And I, stand strong with this and try to teach all mothers out there that no matter what obstacles and challenges that you go through in life, they make you and push you better. So if I could do that, if I could have a child and still earn my nursing degree, which is super hard, you can do anything. I told myself you can do anything you wanted in life. So no matter what I put myself through, even the Mr. Olympia, I won it, earned the title last year, 2020, but it took me all these years, my first Olympia, 2014, 2020, and I never gave up. I kept pushing and pushing. All those years I could have given up. I could have said, this is too much. I'll never win. And
how can you give up when you place second? You're right there. You already know.
I placed second 3 years.
I know, but but that's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of people, there's one thing about Phil Heath and Kai Green. It's the same thing for Kai. He placed second and placed second and placed second, and he wasn't happy and stopped competing at the Olympics.
Kai, if you're listening, you need to, compete this year, 2021. It's your year. Don't give up.
He needs to come back, and he needs to show that he's still there. So, but you didn't give up, and you kept coming back, and eventually I say this every time, eventually they're going to have to give it to you.
2014, second place. 2015, second place. 2019, second place. And you're right. It's like, it may not be your time then. You get second place all these times. I said, it's just not my time. But you know what? I congratulate the champions that do win. But you know what? I got to go back, work on myself.
So
what can I do?
Do you ask for feedback after shows? After you place second or the third time, you ask for feedback?
Absolutely. And every year it's been for me, with my body type, they're like, you win from the front, but the backside, the glutes, they gotta, tighten them up and lift them up. And genetically, it's, the way I'm structured, my glutes, I have a hard time. That's my weakness. So I've always.
What?
Yeah. So
okay. You need to explain that, because I guarantee you, all the listeners later, they're not going to understand the word you just said. So your glutes is your weakness. What do you mean by that?
It is. So, women in general, that we collect a lot of fat there in the glutes anyway. But with my body type, my genetics, I really have a hard time, and I have to work hard to, lift them and get them where they're shaped proportionately to the rest of your body. So my coach, Kim Odo, and I, we worked really hard this past year to do that. And even under the craziest conditions with COVID, that we were able to achieve that.
So what did you do? For all the girls that's listening, they want to know, what did you do in order to lift up the butt a little bit and get it harder, for people or for females that do have problems in the backside?
Yeah, every year I go and look back at the pictures, and I'm like, oh, they look better this year than they did last year. They look better this time than last time. And over time, you build and build, and you're like, I'm almost there. And I feel like this was the sweet spot. This year was the year I truly nailed it. And I think that I was putting in more intensity in the way I was training. And instead of like just feeling like going through the motions, I was training with more intensity, really focusing on, that mind-muscle connection, and to lift them and, make sure that they were proportionate in shape. And it's so important. It's you can't give up on it. You can only, to me, I feel that you can change shape to an extent, genetically, right? But for me, I just knew I could do it. I knew I just didn't want to give up on that. And we did it. We made them look like, tightened and
they stood out. Let's just say they stood out. So now, going into 2021, where can you get better? What are you going to change? What do you have to do in order to stay on top?
I know everyone's like, is there pressure? Is there more pressure? I mean, of course, being the champion on top, there is incredible amount of pressure, not just to beat your opponents, but to beat your own self, to be better than what you were last year. And for
how much better can you get? That's what I want to know. How much better where do you see, when you look at, because you said you nailed it at the Olympia last year. So what do you see when you look at you at the Olympia that can be even better?
I don't think that anyone on stage is ever perfect.
Yeah.
And that no one, you come in looking the way you are and the best version of yourself, but are you no one defines perfect. I don't believe in that. So can I come in better than I looked last year? Absolutely. I can, whether it's bigger shoulders or better shaped legs and, keeping the glutes tightened and lifted, like maybe more ab lines or something. I think that there's all kinds of improvements that we can make.
I'm just trying to think when I look at bikini, and it's not like, let me just pick up the top 6. It's not like there's a huge difference when you look at these girls, They all beautiful. They all have an awesome body, all perfect physiques, So how do you judge, and how much can you improve for us that look at you to say, oh, look, the shoulders are wider, or this is better, How much can it really be? So I think if you just come looking the same you did last year, I think that's champ stuff right there.
I mean, yeah, that is a champ, to look as good as you when you nailed it last time, but there's so many components. Bikini is a different kind of beast to judge. It is incredibly hard, and I don't even know how the judges do it.
I have a couple of questions for you, though. Go ahead.
With judging bikini, it's like, it's not just your physique. It's your presentation on stage, your posing, that wow factor, the flow, the gracefulness of the way you move on stage. There's so many, and representation of yourself, that all to me comes to play, also in addition to the looks and whether it's tan, your suit.
That's what I was about to ask you. I wanted to ask you, because you are the bikini champ right now. I said, do you believe that being pretty in the face is a must for winning the Bikini Olympia, or do you think it's strictly a physique show?
I think that it's a mix of everything.
Yeah, but that's a question nobody ever asked, but I always have that question.
Because you know what? No, listen. People, who knows what, one person may think something is pretty, the other person may not. So it's very subjective.
I know, but don't you choose not only the color of your suit, do you choose how you're going to have your hair? Do you choose how you're going to have your makeup? You want to get that certain look that you like.
Absolutely. And what look for you may work for you, and it may not work for another person. So that's why, it's so intricate, but you want to show up. You want to have the full glam. You want to have from head to toe. So it's so important that you put in all the work throughout your prep. So you're not stressing about your physique at all, when it comes to stage time. That's for your coach. That's for you. You should have done that, already weeks in advance. And, when the day of the show, you want to focus on, got to make sure you're, glammed up for hair, makeup, tan, everything's on point. so you can look your best.
Yeah, I was just, because I'm wondering, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time. I was like,
Are you thinking about doing it?
no, bikini? No, my bikini won't fit. No, I was thinking if you put two girls, the exact same physique, okay? Exact same physique, same height, same weight, same everything. One, let's call one Jane Doe. Jane Doe, beautiful, you know, hair basically nice. And the other one, let's say she looks like Jane Dizzle, you know? So who do you think would win? You know, because because me, I'm not a judge. But if I sit and I love to watch the bikinis, I love to watch wellness, and I look and I don't know, I automatically, the first thing I look at is the face. And I'll tell you why. Because for me, it's important because they all have great bodies. Now we can nitpick and say, yeah, she's got a little bigger glutes, she's got rounder glutes. But when I look at the face and I look at you standing there, the way you smile, and it doesn't look like it's, you know, and you can do it for the whole, that plays a major factor for me. I don't know why. And I think the judges might do the same.
The judges absolutely 110% notice if you're on stage confident and having fun. Or are you stressed out, or are you worried that you didn't look good, or you didn't, you know, finish every rep or eat every meal that you were supposed to. Now you're stressed out about the way you look, or did you, your posing, was it off? Like for me, it's not my first rodeo. I practice posing all the time. I make sure I give my 110% with training. So when it comes to stepping on that stage, and I tell this to every competitor, when you step on that stage, you better fucking own it. That's your time. You only have that time to shine, and you need to go out there being confident and having fun, because you already put in the hard work. This is your time to have fun on stage. And when you're having fun, that brings out the confidence in you, and the judges see that. The judges want to know that. They want to feel that.
Yeah, that's actually good that you just mentioned it, because I say this to athletes too. I said, listen, once you get on stage, because they ask me, what's your advice? Or any tip that you have for the final. I said, listen, when you go there, everything you tell yourself that you want to do when you get on stage, just remember, because the stage time is a couple of minutes, and you're off stage, and then you'll be like, I forgot to do this pose. I forgot to turn like this. I forgot to do that. So that's very important, just to make sure you're confident enough.
That, whether you miss a step in your posing, like how do you recover from that? Are you going to are you going to show it? Are you going to look shocked on stage? Or are you going to stand and own that and just, come back and look confident and I'm here and just continue on? And, whether you have, two competitors and one is, they both physique is the same, but one may not have practiced posing, or their presentation is just not as outstanding. The other one is, commands the attention on stage. Like that's so important, and that person's gonna win.
When you in the beginning, during your amateur career, who did you look up to? Because I think everybody picks one person, and then you try to do the moves, and you try to say, "Oh, I like the way she does it," and you try to imitate. Who did you look up to in your very beginning?
Yasaira Robles.
Oh yeah, from New York.
Yeah.
I know them very well. Yeah.
I thought she was just beautiful, and she had a great presentation on stage.
Plus all the kids.
Yeah, and
Unbelievable.
She's a mom as well. Also, Natalia Mello. She was, Olympia Bikini Champion as well.
Wasn't she the first one?
Not the first Bikini Olympia Champion, no.
Who was the first one?
A couple years into it, she was.
Okay, who was the first bikini champ? I don't remember.
Was it Sonia Gonzalez?
Sounds familiar. I feel bad for not knowing.
I don't know, something like that. I should probably know this.
Yeah, you're the Olympia champ. You should know who was before you.
Yeah, but honestly, I didn't become interested until a few years in after bikini came out.
I didn't start bodybuilding until 92, and I still know who won the first Mr. Olympia. And I'm not Mr. Olympia, so it's not even my duty. But listen, we'll figure it out. Maybe Nico can find out who the first Olympia was.
Well, I would have to admit that the Bikini Olympia winners, the champions, have changed over the years.
A lot,
become an
yes.
evolution of physiques and everything compromised. The whole package has evolved since it came out. So what was the look back then is not what it is now.
True. Because back then they were all short. Now it looks like they're getting taller and taller.
I'm so glad, rooting for tall girls, because for a long time I felt like, man, are we, do we get attention or not? But,
So you thought you guys were too tall, and that's why?
Being tall, does have its disadvantages as far as, muscle bellies and putting on muscle. And for me, I can carry a lot to fill out and have that proportionate shape. And so that was something I had to work on too, because before I was lean and conditioned, but I didn't have enough muscle. I needed to put on more. And I really enjoyed doing that, putting that on. And it was a mindset too, for me to, okay, I got to add on more weight, more muscle. But looking back now at the pictures, I'm like, it looked much better to have that added on.
Do you ever look at pictures and say, oh, damn, I didn't know I looked this good? Do you ever have, do you have some pictures where you're just like, yeah, they're right there, that's it?
Looking back at the Olympia pictures, especially like the back pose, I'm like, I amazed myself that I could do that. I said, I'm so proud of myself. I did that. And I never thought I could, because there was a post of every single year at the Olympia for me, the back side and the front side. And it showed the, every single year of improving. And then come 2020, it was the best look out of all the pictures. And I couldn't believe I did that. So, if you keep staying with it and putting in the work and wanting to change, you'll get there. And that's what I did.
So after placing second 3 times, going to Orlando last year, did you have in the back of your mind, like, I think we'll be second again, or did you believe you can go and win it? Did you think this is going to be my year?
I know everyone's like, every year you go in, you give it your all, but this year was a little different. I had first of all, the Olympia was in my backyard, Orlando. Okay. I'm like, thank God. I didn't have to, go through the travel of a 5-hour plane ride to a different, the West Coast, and deal with that fluctuation, because my body is fickle to the pressure changes. Okay. So I didn't have to deal with that. And I was like, thank God. And just a 45-minute down the road in my backyard. And I think it was just this sense of coming in. I felt great. I felt like I wasn't rushing. I felt like I was on point. I worked hard. My coach thinks I'm like at the best ever. And after prejudging, I felt that. I felt the approval from the judges. You just feel it in the crowd and everything. You get that sense. So I really felt that. And come finals, when it was down to Jen Dory and I was holding her hands, and
did you say something? Did you say something to her? She said, "This is gonna be you next." Next.
It's such a special moment too. I love being able to hold the other first and second, our top 2, the hands, because it's a meaningful moment for both of us, right? And it's the first time Jen got second place. But when they called my name, I had this feeling right before they called my name that, there's just no way I could get second place again. It's either I don't win at all. I'm not getting second place. So I truly felt it.
Yeah, I guess you were right, champ. You lucky. You were right. Sonia Gonzalez, 2010, first Olympia.
See?
Yeah. So okay. So now you're standing there, just you and the Brazilian girl.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on Trifecta.
No, I don't think Jen's. No, Jen, I don't. She's Canadian.
Canadian. So, but the Brazilian was the one that that was winning the year before. What's her name? From New York.
In 2019,
what's her
top
name?
2 was Isa Piccini and I. And
what? Wait a minute. What about the Brazilian girl that won it 2 or 3 years?
Angelica Teixeira.
Angelica, wasn't she in there in 2019?
She was there 2019 as well, yes.
Okay, so she didn't even make top 2.
Well, no, it was
Was
Isa
you
and I for top 2 in 2019. And that came down to when I, getting feedback and the scoring, it was a 1 point difference.
Wow.
A 1 point. And I knew, and everyone's like, I bet you were so pissed. And then I think back like, no, honestly, if I didn't win, hands down, I didn't win.
So how close was it last year?
By 1 point, I am so grateful. I think this is why my win in 2020 was the most meaningful ever, because I didn't just win by like 1 point. I won like hands down unanimously. And that would have been, that's greater than any, like if I won by 1 point.
So how much motivation does that give you for this year's prep? Has your prep started?
It has started. We started easing into things and getting in training. And Coach Kimoto and I were, we got our plan together. I'm really looking forward to it. There's tons of pressure, to
really.
Yeah,
What if there's anything that you worry about? What do you worry about the most going into 22?
Honestly, I try not to worry. Because I think the worry causes distraction. So I try not to worry. I just try to focus on this is what we need to do, and let's do this. Like, let's put our effort, our energy, let's give it our all. When you start to worry, like, am I going to be good enough? Are the girls going to look like this?
You already know you're good enough. That's not a question no more. It's just a matter of, can you come in and represent the way you did last year? So you got to bring the same.
Absolutely.
I believe if you bring the same package, listen, you won hands down. Do you have to make changes? I don't think so. I think you just have to come in, look at the way you do, and as a champ, somebody to beat you needs to come and knock you out. That's not going to be easy. Who's going to do it? If you look at the girls in the lineup, who do you think is the one that's the biggest threat to you?
Oh, I don't know. I cannot say. I cannot say that. Cannot say that. I don't. I've taught myself not to do that. I've taught myself not to say who's the biggest threat. And I know a lot of athletes do that. And naturally you want to do that. But God, if I take away the focus from what I need to do, that's not going to get me there. Okay. If I start to create those worries, it's not going to get me there. So, all
right, I'm going to ask you a different question. If Jeanette Layug is not in the Olympia this year, who wins it?
I would say it would go back to second place. Who got second place last year? Jen Dory.
The Canadian girl. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to find out who you think.
These girls work incredibly hard. Yeah. Jen Dory, I got to give it to her. She looked amazing. She kills it. She represents herself well. And I have a lot of appreciation for that. For me as a champion, I try to represent myself well in the sport, in the division, going out there, teaching girls, engaging with people all around the world, and, getting knowledge out there about the division, the sport. That's so important. I know Jen on a personal level. She's a great girl and I love her. And, if she may win the Bikini Olympia, then I would congratulate her because, they deserve, and any champion deserves that. They deserve the credit to their spot. And I appreciate everyone who has given me the credit for my win.
How much changed for you after winning the Olympia, if anything changed? You're already unbelievable popular and everybody loves you, but what changed? What can you say because I won the Olympia, those are the things that changed for me?
Yes, since winning the Olympia, I felt like I hit the ground running with just incredible amount of opportunities that presented itself. But I always try to remain the same person, always try to remain, very authentic. And I don't want any of the opportunities to, get at my head or anything like that. But, since then I've had the opportunity to travel the world and engage with fans and followers from all, everywhere, seminars, all kinds of things. And even the opportunity to have my own show.
I was just got to talk about that too, but you mentioned it. Go ahead. Tell us about your show.
My show, Battle of the Bodies, it's an NPC national qualifier. It's also an IFBB Pro Bikini for the Olympia qualifier.
Okay.
And meaning it's an amazing thing because I'm going to be giving another Pro Bikini girl the opportunity to compete against me at the Mr. Olympia.
And you're probably going to give her a couple of $1,000s too.
Yeah. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud to do that. I love to see other women successful. So that's just in my nature to do so. But that'll be happening July 31st in Coral Springs, Florida. And all the information, if you guys want to compete, if you want to experience this show, it's going to be very special. You can get it at janetsbattleofthebodies.com. You can register, all that, get all the info. But the opportunity to have this show means so much to me because it's an opportunity to be a part of other athletes' journeys that everyone's been a part of mine. They've seen me from the beginning till now, and to be a part of someone else's means a lot. It means a lot to me for my legacy as well.
Yeah, and I feel you on that because I promote shows too, and it's just something because this side of the picture, but now you on the other side, and there's going to be so many bikini girls and amateurs wanting to do your show because first of all, it's a chance to compete, plus it's a chance to get to meet you because you'll definitely be there greeting everybody, which I enjoy too because, I do my show since 2000, I think the first time 2014, and it's just nice to see the athletes coming back after you, give you feedback, tell you they like the way they got treated and stuff, because we know the other side. We know when it's a show is where they take care of you or when it's a show that they don't take care of you at all.
As an athlete in that same position, you know what it's like, how you're treated, at a show and what makes you feel welcome and what makes your experience more enjoyable. We know this, because we are an athlete. And over my years of experience of seeing other promoters and their productions, I've been able to, gather all that insight so I can make my show extremely special for everyone else.
That's awesome. You plan on doing a show maybe in the Philippines?
I would love to do that. I definitely would love to have one there. With COVID, we don't know how things will play out, but, to have one here in the States is very meaningful. And I can't wait to see everyone. And we're about 5 weeks out now, so it's coming soon.
So, and this is also a national qualifier, which means only amateurs. Guys, you can qualify to go to the Nationals in Miami, if I'm not mistaken, in November or December. When is the Nationals? November?
Should be
November or December. I know. It was pushed back just a little bit. So tell me one more thing, though. Before now, training for the Olympia, what does the training look like? What do you focus on? We know about the glutes, but what else do you focus on? Because you said you want a little bit wider shoulders. So what training exercises have you implemented, or which one did you drop? Any changes in your workouts?
Well, not just the shoulders. Shoulders are definitely a must with bikini. But for me and my body type, I want to focus a little bit more on legs and kind of like creating a little bit more shape with the legs. Not necessarily a lot bigger, but a little bit bigger to add, proportion overall. And sometimes my legs can get a bit skinny come towards the end of prep. So that's something I have to be very careful with. And so we've been incorporating more leg exercises in the training to keep that, to really engage them and create that shape for them. So I think we're on track, and with things getting started, and I'm really looking forward to coming even better this year.
Yeah. Well, if you can do that, then I always tell people, if you're better than last year, and your position as a champ, there's nothing to worry about, But bikini, you never know because these girls are so close sometimes. And like you mentioned before, it's all a matter of presentation. Once you step on that stage, you gotta look like the champ.
You gotta look like a champ. You gotta walk like a champ and act like one. It's everything.
So how many hours a day, or how much time you put into posing? When do you start?
I think with posing, I do probably like 20 minutes a day.
Okay.
But I do that consistently. I don't, if you spend an hour or, some people obsess over it in one day, like you'll forget everything. It has an reverse effect on you.
Okay.
So I think that little bit goes a long way, but as long as you're doing that consistently, it's, same thing as training and same thing as your diet, consistency, right? So that little bit of time spending working on your posing, you video yourself, you take a look and like, maybe I don't like that, or maybe you'll figure something out the next time you do your posing. You can tweak it and make it your own. You make it unique and you make it fun. Like it's real work, but you got to put in, got to put in work with that.
When you step on stage at the Olympia or any show you compete, when you step on stage, do you look for crowd reaction? Do you look for some kind of confirmation?
You would think that like crowd confirmation kind of determines like the favorite or who's going to win, but I've learned over the years that does not dictate the winner or your placing. And that sometimes the year that you think probably you're going to win and you get a crowd cheer, that you end up not winning. And I've seen that to many competitors. That
I know, but I'm not talking about winning. When I ask the question because when you come out, because now we see the shape you are in. Everybody's been waiting the whole year to see what you look like this year. So when you walk out, does the crowd reaction help you with confidence a little bit more? Or do you? Because I'm thinking, that's what I meant.
Crowd engagement, and that that support from the crowd is going to uplift you and carry you on stage for sure. Absolutely.
Do you look at judges' faces to get a reaction to see what they?
Oh my God, yes. I tell people all the time, like, okay, you need to, look at the judges, make that eye contact. And sometimes you're like, are they even looking at me? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm asking. Because
they'll look at you and you're like, they have the most stoic face, like so non-emotional stoic face. And you're like, oh my God, what are they thinking? Like, am I doing something right? Like, but you know what? I know that, they have to play that poker face and that, but if you see some sign of like smiles, you're like, oh yes, you're like, I did something right. Yeah. But, you still got to play, focus on you. You cannot focus on like, did they make a face or not? Did they have a reaction or not? You have to, if you come in looking bad, they'll probably have a reaction for that though.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Cause I used to do that too. I used to look, any reaction, because now but for us it's different. You guys do the walk and the quarter turns, we do the mandatory poses, but you want to get some reaction, at least the crowd or somebody. It's like, hey, my last weight ain't shit. What happened? You're looking for it. So if we weigh you today and then we check the weight that you had last year at the Olympia, how much do you fluctuate from off season to contest weight?
Yeah, for me, I probably fluctuate between 10 to 15 pounds.
So that's not much. That's just a little bit.
It's not much, but I think 15 pounds is definitely healthy to, reset your body. Your body needs a break. I tell everybody, you need a break. You cannot continue to have your body go through what it's going through all year long. It needs a break to refresh and be well rested. So you can do it all over again, And I think that's kind of the key to my longevity as well in the sport too. And doing things, staying healthy is being well rested for the off season,
Yeah, and off season is not always a bad thing. And I saw we both suffer from the same addiction. You know what I'm about to say. I said,
I know.
They call you the cookie master. How many cookies do you really eat?
Like the cookie queen.
Yeah.
And like girls are like, Oh my God, I bet she doesn't eat it. But you know what?
I believe you. I believe you.
I do eat them.
Because, people wonder, because how can she look like that in off-season and be 10, 15 pounds over her contest weight and eat them cookies? So how many, I just want to know if you can eat more than me. How many cookies can you eat in one sitting? Or what's the most you ever had?
The most I've probably had, my coach is going to kill me for this. So I honestly, I have eaten a whole cookie and probably a half of another one. And that was probably all I ate for that meal, but it was so good. It was so worth it. And I'm not ashamed to say that, but you know what? We work hard and we earn that time. We earned those treats, and it was definitely a good treat. But, moderation for everything, guys.
Right.
So when I typically, especially with, if you cannot obviously eat the entire cookie every single time. So I love to I'll portion it out, whether it's a fourth or a third, and then also try different other cookies. There's so many flavors.
I'm confused.
So,
I'm totally confused with
the key.
Yeah. Awesome. So listen, hey, we got what 4.5 months left to the Olympia?
Time's a ticking. It's coming down.
Listen, we wish you all the best. Of course, we want to see you get back on that stage. It's going to be your first time as the defending champion. We're going to see you at the press conference. I'm looking forward to see the new Janet Layug, and see if you can not only bring the same package, but top the package, which I think I don't even know what you have to do in order to do that.
We're going to be putting in the work and every single day and stay hungry for this, because when it comes down to it, stepping on that stage again, the music to my ears will be hearing another 2-time champion.
There you go.
So.
See, the motivation is at an all-time high right now?
It is. It really is.
Do you think it's going to get even more, it's going to be a little more when it gets closer, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right now, it's kind of we're having fun and stuff, but it's going to hammer down,
Yeah.
But I love every minute of it,
You'll probably be in full contest mode right after your show. That's when you probably shut it all down.
Yeah, and the show, there's a lot of fun happening with that and stuff. And then once that's over, I can focus on clearly and completely the prep and, get in that game mode.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you. Good luck with everything. Don't get hurt. Don't injure yourself. Don't catch COVID or whatever, all the other things that we're dealing with. So we want to see you back on that stage. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate you. And like I said, we are rooting for you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me too.
Absolutely. So, we'll probably have you back in the studio after the Olympia. Yeah, we'll probably have a few ideas with you after the Olympia. So take care and stay safe. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.